What up, Young Bucks, Old Goats, World Cup edition. I got Tank with me. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Are you excited about the win? Are you nervous about Saturday? What are you feeling?
I'm angry about Saturday, dude.
Why?
Because I'm going to be at work.
Oh my God, this is a perfect call-in sick day, dude.
That's I don't got many of those, man.
Can't say it right now because it'll be on tape. But are you gonna get to watch while you work at least?
I think so.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I should be able to watch.
So tonight, the episode is going to be, obviously, as the title will tell you, focused on the World Cup. We've been watching a lot of the games, having fun with it. We haven't done a show since it started. Obviously, you're rooting for Argentina. I'm going for USA, but in my household, there's a lot of Argentina. Mostly one that's converted everybody else. My wife. So it's been fun, dude. I love this tournament. It's got to be like one of the best things in sports, right?
Yeah, man. Definitely one of a kind, right?
Like better than the Super Bowl, or
No, hell yeah, bro. No doubt.
mostly because it's only once every 4 years, right?
Right. And it's like countries are involved,
Yeah,
multiples.
and you have like a big build up to the tournament, you qualify, like casual. Like I'm a casual dude. I'll watch the World Cup. I'm not really watching a lot of the qualifying and all that, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes into it, man, before you even get to see what we see here in the World Cup final, which is what it is. Really, it's the final. I don't think any other sport or tournament has it like that. I think soccer in general just has the best tournaments, cups, leagues. Just the way they do it is just everything else. Every other sport is just sort of localized, and this is so global. That you have all these tournaments. Like La Copa Libertadores, the Champions League, and all that, and then you have something like this where you just get the best of every country. It's pretty cool. Not even baseball, which is another world.
Baseball kind of does it, right? With the World Classic.
Yeah, and they do the Olympics, but I mean, other than that, you're not really like. There could be some. I don't know about right now, but there could be some argument over the years over what the best soccer leagues are, right? There's
Yeah.
really never any argument that MLB is the best baseball league, and everybody then goes to MLB who's good in any of the other leagues. But with soccer, you get where sometimes this league is better than that league, and then the clubs can face off, and it's interesting. Like it would not be interesting if MLB teams played against like KBO.
China.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be. It'd be it should be a kill.
Like it wouldn't be interesting to see NFL versus XFL and CFL.
No. Otherwise, they would have done it, dude. Those are like true, not even true, but like minor leagues for the NFL. Yeah, which is one thing they've never really been able to do, which is sort of like, I guess their minor league is college, but there should be an in between, which would be cool, like a B league. That's something cool too. The relegation aspect of it, that's pretty cool, dude. If you're not good enough, you're not gonna be in the league anymore, bro.
Yeah, Adam Silver like hinted at doing it, but he reverted it.
I mean, that's some motivation for not tanking.
It's fucking motivation, bro.
Yeah, it's not like now you could tank, dude. You could tank for picks, or you could just we'll talk about him later. Or you could just
I didn't think about that. That's like actually
not spend money. Teams do that. Just keep afloat. Not spend a lot of money. Just make revenue sharing and shit.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it would stop the tanking aspect of it.
Yeah, absolutely. if you were at risk of losing your, I guess your status as a top. But then again, where are you going to go? They're going to put the Dolphins to play in the XFL. That's never going to happen.
I think the problem is that it'll mess up like I guess the traveling would be an issue to different. Um,
Well, the NFL's a mafia, dude. They would never.
Different courts. Well, I'm thinking NBA just because Adam
Okay,
Silver.
let's think basketball for a second. So, well, no, you set up a schedule every year, but like they're not gonna go play in the secondary league. Like, what was his idea? Do you remember? Like,
Yeah, it was like knocking off the last two and bringing up the two from the G League.
the problem is that those G League teams would just get murdered every day in the NBA, probably.
Yeah.
Like the best G League team won't be able to beat the worst NBA team, probably. Because again,
Maybe.
if you start being a little bit good in that league, you get signed up to the NBA. You know
Yeah.
that's what happens. Just because they're developmental leagues, they'd have to change the whole concept of what those teams are and what the leagues are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in Argentina, for example, and everywhere else where they have like A, B, C, D, whatever, those teams are not like farms for the top flight teams. They're actually they might be farms for Europe, and
Yeah.
sometimes
They're
anybody get
usually like young players or old players are on those teams. Obviously there's people in between that are not as good, but usually that's the older people go there or the younger people start in the Bs.
right. You kind of work your way up, but the team has a chance to then all of a sudden be in the top flight league and make some money and then sign some players maybe and do some
Right,
damage.
because that's one of the advantages too. You get more money when you're in the higher in the first division.
Right.
You get less if you go down. You get less money per games. That's also sometimes why players or teams can't come out of those divisions is because they don't make as much money, so they can't buy better players to get out of the division. So
Yeah.
they sell their players, their good players, and the cycle continues.
Yeah. I mean, even well, they just doinked a field goal here in this Patriots Bills game. They would have been down 17-10, but it remains 17-7. Um, Even Boca Juniors, who for a while was doing a lot of damage, became kind of like a farm team too. Like
For
I mean,
Europe, yeah, every team outside of Europe is pretty much a farm.
yeah, because you can make big bucks on those transfer fees. That's just like it's
And
like
you
cash.
play, you're gonna be playing at a higher quality league. There's so much that you can do and learn from those leagues. Not necessarily Argentina because they have a pretty good league, but let's say you're in Africa or you're in the Turkish league. There's there's definitely a higher level when you move to those European, those uh, Spaniard leagues, those not even the German league anymore because Bayern is taking over that shit. The
Italy.
Italian league, yeah, Serie A, the Premier League, of course, that's one of the
Mhm.
best ones right now. So you do get better, you're around a different set of talent.
Yes, now we're talking more like we're switching leagues, but like within those leagues, the A and the B, um, those B teams are trying to get to that A, right? Pretty much
Right.
all the time. They're trying to get more money, get more exposure, be on TV, have more fans. You're a B team, and then all of a sudden, Real Madrid is coming, to play at your stadium. Barcelona's coming to play at your stadium, and then if not, some of those other teams that are not as lucrative are going. So it's like it's a major thing. All right, so let's look at the World Cup. Let's look at the groups real quick. Let me see if I can add that on the screen. You know what? I'm gonna hold off for a minute because we have a potential guest coming on soon. Um, let's talk Dolphins real quick before we get into the.
We got a question there from John in the chat.
Mhm.
Uh, Pregunta: ¿Messi sigue siendo el mejor jugador del mundo a sus 35 años? Is Messi the best player still? Is he still the GOAT right now at 35 years old?
What do you think? And if not, who is?
You know, I'm biased, bro.
Of course you are.
There's a bias.
Yeah.
I do gotta admit though, I saw him a little slow this last game against Poland, like speed wise.
He didn't have like that burst, right?
Yeah.
That he used to have.
Yeah. But I think so, dude. I think he's still great. You know,
If not, who is?
it's always him and taking out him and Ronaldo because you know those are the goats right there, bro. I don't give anyone the edge. I think those are the two. I'm not arguing that anymore. I'm just glad to be able to be living in this time to see them two play.
That's what I say.
So taking them two out, bro. As much as I don't like the guy, I might have to say Mbappe, bro.
Yeah. Did you see
He's crazy.
the amount of money that they offered Ronaldo to go play in Saudi Arabia?
If that doesn't tell you he's the GOAT.
If that doesn't tell you how much money they have over there, dude.
Well, that's besides the fact.
Jesus, dude.
They was 680, like close to 700 mil for 3 years.
Yeah, it was like 30 months, something like that. I don't know if he's gonna take it.
I mean, he doesn't need to.
Why not come down to Miami, dude, and take? I don't know.
That'd be nice to see, bro. Messi and Ronaldo teaming up.
Damn, they can't afford both. I don't think.
Well, I mean, he can't come down to Miami because I'm pretty sure Messi like owns like 30% of the team. And
it'd be awesome to have either one of those guys.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I know who you would prefer, but it'd be awesome. Well, take 300 million. Come to Miami for 300 million, and then you could probably make the rest in advertisements.
Yeah, bro.
And
royalties from Jersey, say
whatever, other stuff. You go play in Saudi Arabia. I don't think are people going to be rocking your Saudi Arabia jersey around the world.
Not regular. No, not around the world. Probably.
No.
Definitely, maybe in the Middle East, but
are they going to be rocking? You definitely saw a lot of jerseys in Miami, but I don't know outside of Miami. Are you going to be selling a lot of
Inter Miami?
Yeah.
Maybe in the U.S. Just like I'm saying, yeah, it's the same idea. Maybe everybody likes the Premier League. Yeah, everybody likes Real Madrid. You know.
Yeah, because I remember when Beckham came and they gave him like 50 million a year or something like that. I didn't see that many LA Galaxy jerseys around, you know?
No, but definitely MLS has picked up a lot. I think more people are getting into soccer here in the States now.
Yeah, it was interesting that you never know how those articles come out or those news flashes. It was interesting that Messi rumor about him coming down to Miami came out like in the middle of the World Cup. Like I think it was right after a game that rumor started flying around. And then later they said, nothing's concrete, whatever.
Right. But I think now it's because it's getting towards the end of his contract with PSG. Like this is the last year, so maybe that's why. But
yeah, I think that team has decided they're not gonna field that super squad. It almost seems like overkill for that league to have that team. I don't know. I don't know enough about France soccer, but it just seems like that team is.
Yeah, bro. There's no. Let me
why?
see what it looks like now.
They seem to win every competition, and it's like, why do you need all those guys on that team? You probably could win that league with a much smaller payroll than what they're doing, which is probably what they're thinking too, and that's why they're doing what they're doing.
They're first right now with by 4, 5, 6 points. So they're up. They're There are 2 games ahead
Of
of the second place team, PSG. That team,
which is who? Who is the second place team?
Lens, which is not.
Wow.
It's not that far,
I know it seems like they should be.
but PSG has 43 goals favored and 9 against.
And they're also trying to win Champions League, and they're also probably trying to win. I think they played the final in whatever their domestic cup is.
I think they're out of the Champions League. No, no, no. Sorry. That's coming up.
No, they're going to start the group stage for that.
No, the group stage just finished. They're gonna start the knockout stage.
Yes, right. They just decided who's going forward exactly, and that's I think in February is when they continue. I guess everybody lined up all their shit to like end whenever they could, right before.
Yeah, they stopped it. No.
Yeah. Um. So, just switching gears real quick with the Dolphins here. The season starts for the Miami Dolphins on this Sunday for me at 4 o'clock versus the San Francisco 49ers. Uh, Tua's first real big test, I would say.
Well,
On the road.
The Dolphins, big test, right? All
Yes.
these new wide receivers we got, the running backs.
I'm not worried about them.
McDaniels.
Test for him because this is him going against his master now,
Yep.
So he's going back to where he came from, where they know him and he knows them, and the players. We got some players that were there a few weeks ago, like Wilson, was there.
Mostert a couple
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, Wilson, our other receiver, was there. So there's some pieces we have that are familiar there. How are they going to scheme each other? How they're going to defend Tua? What kind of game plan they have? D, what's up, brother? How you doing, bro?
What up, D?
So that's going to be interesting to see. Then the following games, I believe it's the following week's games. Los Angeles Chargers, forgive me, are flexed. They flexed our game to prime time, so that will now be a Sunday night football game, which is pretty cool. So we're getting a couple non-1 o'clock games in a row here, and then of course we go up to the Bills in what could be bad conditions, which that's not been good traditionally for the Dolphins. So
at least our running game has gotten better.
Oh yeah, man! Go USA, 10 a.m. Sunday, Netherlands. We're gonna get into all that soon. Argentina plays at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Sorry,
2 p.m. And mouth-watering for some people. If Argentina wins and USA wins, we get a USA Argentina matchup. That would be cool.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way that this World Cup has gone so far, like, dude, anything could happen, right?
Yeah, bro, for sure.
There's nothing that looks like for sure.
You remember those 3 minutes where Spain and Germany were both out?
Yeah, dude.
That was crazy, man.
That was
the fairy tale was alive.
But one of my dad's favorite sayings in Spanish, que poco dura la alegría en la casa del pobre.
Eso sí.
So like if you're poor and something good happens, next thing you know, like some pipe is gonna break in your house or something bad. When you're poor, the joy only lasts so long. Something bad's bound to happen when you're not good, and that definitely happened to
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica was up 2-1, and they end up losing 4-2.
Yeah,
which, dude, in NFL football terms, that would be like they like scored 4, and they were all, I think, in the second half. The last 3 goals. I mean, that was like a Tua comeback on the Ravens or something like that. What they did. So
I think 5 goals were in the second half. Because I think Germany was up 1-0 at the end of the half.
Yeah, no, I was just referring to
Oh,
Germany's goals. But yeah, Costa Rica also had. Yeah, they might have had both their goals in the second half.
hmm
Actually, you're right. Um, I like those kind of games. They're just back and forth and back and forth.
yeah.
And then the other game was I didn't catch most of that one. Japan and
Spain.
Spain. Who Spain when you watch the first game, they score what 7 goals
On Costa Rica, yeah.
on this same Costa Rica that was hanging tough there with Germany, and
The
then
same Costa Rica that beat Japan
right,
1-0.
and then for a moment there, Spain is out.
Yeah,
Crazy,
insane.
but I see. They got second in the group, but they move forward. We'll look at the bracket later. Um,
Actually, that was the better option for them.
yeah, they get Morocco now
Instead of Croatia.
right. So kind of
Yeah, kind of a good outcome for them.
yeah. And in this World Cup, where like teams that are not supposed to win are winning and stuff like that, weird stuff like that.
Yo, de-sidetracked us. We were talking Dolphins.
Yeah,
Um,
that's how easy it is to do.
Crazy our division, bro. This game
Yeah,
tonight and that Dolphin game could put us in last place, and we're in first.
very tight. I don't know. I don't know if all 4 AFC East teams are still in the playoff mix. Um, but at one point they were. It's a very tight division, dude. Anything could happen. That's why I hate to be this guy all the time. When people get super excited, I gotta say pump the brakes because we haven't done anything yet. Now is when the stuff really starts. You always want to be winning in December. December football, weather gets colder. Unfortunately, we got to go on the road so damn much. That's not cool. 3 weeks in a row against pretty tough opponents. This is when you want to be winning. I mean, you want to be winning all the time, but usually the teams that will make noise in the playoffs are winning during this time of year. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in his career have never lost a game in November or December. Think about that. This is on his 4th season now. They've never lost a game in November or December. That's unheard of. That's where we want to be. That's what we want to be doing. I welcome a tough opponent like the Niners because I think that'll really let us know where we are.
For
That's
sure.
that's the kind of game, going to tell you the truth right there. There's no hiding there. You beat that team, you're legit. Not that you're not legit if you don't beat that team, but if you get blown out in that game, personally, I'm thinking this is the same old Dolphins and this is the same old Tua. Now we go up there and he still plays well, and we play. Our defense plays a little bit better, and we can score. I think we got to score over 20 points in that game. Then hey, even if we lose a close one, hey, still, we went on the road. That's a lot of people's Super Bowl team selection. So we'll see how that goes. This game just started the second half, 17-7. Bills over the Patriots. Most people wanted the Patriots to win as far as Dolphin fans are concerned because that would give us a little cushion versus the Bills, even though that would get the Patriots a little closer to us. So there's that. Let me pull up the NFL. So you know what? I have them right here. We can do our picks real quick while we wait here.
All right.
All right. I do have our records somewhere. I didn't gather them because I was prepping more for the World Cup, but it was not good last week for sure. The week before was decent, and then the 2 weeks before that were like 10 and 11 win
Yeah.
weeks. So I think everybody. I read some articles all around the handicapping world. People just took a beating. All right, so the game we picked the game that's going on right now, um, and that was the Bills and the Pats, and the Pats were favored. Bills were favored by 4. I took the Pats, and you took the Bills, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then the next one is the Titans at the Eagles. Eagles are favored by 4.5. Let's blitz through these. Who you got here?
Let me let it break up. You said the Eagles are favored by 4.5 against who?
Titans.
I'll take the. I'll take the Titans.
Okay, I'm going Eagles on this one. We got the Jets, Vikings. Vikings are favored by 3. This is at the Vikings.
I'll take the Vikings.
I will take the Vikings as well. White played pretty good for the Jets, but I'm not so sure how long that's going to last. We got Washington, and they are playing the New York Giants.
At the Giants.
At the Giants. Washington is favored by 2.5. Tyler Heineke seems to be the starting quarterback going forward, who has a very good record for them. I will take the Commanders.
I'll take them as well.
Also known as the Redskins in some parts, probably still.
Dude, did you see that Sean Taylor tribute?
Oh, man, dude, that was embarrassing.
What a diss, right?
Yeah, they put basically on a mannequin his helmet and uniform.
Not even a mannequin. It was a wire rack.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And then I saw a video of somebody explaining it, that the jersey is not even accurate because he's wearing a Nike jersey and he wasn't around for that.
Terrible. Broncos are facing the Ravens here, and the Ravens are favored by 8.5.
It's a pretty big spread, right?
Yeah, but the Broncos really suck, dude. And I don't know what they're gonna do with Russell Wilson, but I'll take the Ravens.
I'll take him too, even though I saw Lamar was limited in practice with the quad.
I would probably still take them, dude.
Dude, this next one is nice, huh?
Now, yeah, this is Deshaun Watson's comeback. I had a whole thing prepared.
Hey, no pun intended.
No pun intended, dude. That just happened. Browns are favored by 7 against Houston. I guess I'll take Cleveland, dude. Houston's
I'll take it, bro.
Yeah.
Did you see that the lawyer is gonna have the victims there?
I read something about that, dude. It's
he's gonna rent out a suite and have like 7 of the victims there or something like that.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah. So next up, I'm trying to run through all these so we can get to the World Cup stuff here. Jacksonville Lions. Jacksonville's favored by 1. Sunshine's playing a little bit better down in Jacksonville. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville.
They're playing at Detroit though.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take the Lions.
All right. Packers are at the Bears. Packers are favored by 3.5. I guess Aaron Rodgers is gonna play.
He's the daddy, right? He's the Bears' daddy.
Supposedly, but I think if there's ever a time for him not to own them, it will be now. I'm going to take the Bears.
I'll take the Pack.
All right. They should just let Jordan Love play, dude.
Oh, that's coming, bro. 100.
Yeah, but this guy doesn't want to, man. It's he's being stubborn. I don't know. Steelers, Falcons, and the Falcons are favored by 1.
I'll take it.
Taking the Falcons?
Yeah.
I'll take Pittsburgh. I wouldn't wish this game on my worst enemy to have to watch it, really. Okay, big one here. Miami, San Francisco, 4 o'clock games. Niners are favored by 4. I'm going to go with Miami here.
Me too.
All right. Just a couple more, I think, here. What do we got? Seahawks, Rams. Seahawks are favored by 7.
I think Cup and Goff are out, right?
Not Goff.
Well, I heard something about Goff.
No, not Goff.
Maybe not that he was out, but
No, that's not their quarterback. That used to be their quarterback.
I mean, sorry. Yeah, Stafford.
There you go, Stafford. Yeah, I'm taking Seattle, dude.
Yeah, I'll take him. My boy Gino.
Chiefs, Bengals. Chiefs are favored by 1.5.
Wow. I'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah, it seems kind of low for them, right?
Yeah, it's like kind of like a diss, right?
Yeah. Then we got the Chargers, Raiders. Raiders are favored by 1. I don't know why. I'm taking the Chargers.
Yeah, give me the Chargers.
Colts,
Yeah,
Cowboys.
it's saying that Stafford is not playing this week.
Yeah, even more reason to take Seattle. Colts, Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 10.5.
What's up with the Colts, bro?
I mean, they kind of messed up last week on the time management stuff, but I don't think it would have mattered. They're playing tough. I'll take the Colts. That's a big.
Yeah, give me the Colts, man.
All right. And then the Monday night game is the Saints, Bucks. That's a real. Well,
always. It's a doozy.
That's a tough game. Even though the Saints have been so bad. I'll take the Saints just based on their history of playing.
I usually go Saints, yeah. But I'll take the Bucks this time around.
Oh, you'll take the Bucks.
I do go Saints normally.
Yeah. Let's just do the Thursday night game just in case. Raiders, Rams. Raiders are favored by 5.
Yeah, give me Raiders.
I'll take the Raiders. That's the first time. All right. That's our picks. We'll see how we do. All right, dude. The purpose of the show is to talk about the World Cup. And let's bring in our guest here tonight. We got Sauce joining us. Hey, how are you, man? Thanks for joining us.
I'm good, brother. I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Sauce.
And you are joining us all the way from Australia, right?
Correct, man. I live in Melbourne, Australia, the land down under. We made it through to the group knockout stages, which is amazing.
Dude.
For our country. I can't believe it. I doubted us. I didn't think we would actually make it out of the group. So pretty happy about that. And it's been a good World Cup thus far. A lot of entertaining games.
Very entertaining.
Was that sort of the feeling amongst fans? They weren't expecting them to go through before the tournament started, or was there, some hope that it would happen?
Well, there's always optimism. I mean, it is a game of football at the end of the day. So, there's always optimism there. But when you have a look at the other nations in there, I mean, other than Tunisia, where we could probably say that we are the better nation, the other 2 nations in there, Denmark and France, we're far behind them when it comes to creating, talent that hits the world stage and it hits the best leagues in the world, the top 5 leagues or top 6 leagues around the world. We don't really have too many players that make it to those leagues. When you have a look at France, I think their whole team is in one of those top 5 leagues, and Denmark's got, probably about 4 or 5 players that come from those leagues. So there's a big difference in class, but the heart of the Australians is what shone through in the end, and we defended a lot. I'm not going to deny the fact that we defended a lot, but sometimes 1-0 and you get one chance and you take that chance is good enough in the game of soccer.
For sure.
And that was going to be one of my questions to you. You guys are the Socceroos, so in Australia it's soccer, not football.
Yeah, so look, you can't really call it football because we have Australian rules football, which is also called football. Then we've got people,
Which is not our
also
football that we were talking
no,
about.
no. So it's a
Which
completely
is not,
different game.
it's not rugby either, right?
No, it's not right. So that's what I was about to say. So down south, more people follow Australian rules football, which is AFL, known as AFL, and then up north, more people follow rugby. So also people call rugby football. People up north will call rugby football, or they'll call it footy, and which is the short for football, and that's what they know it as. So calling it football down here, even though my heritage is I'm Italian, so I'll call it football. And when I'm talking with other people that are known to call it football, we'll call it football because we know what we're talking about. But most people call it soccer. I'd say a good 90% of the population, or even more, call it soccer. Just because it gets confused with too many other sports when you refer to it as football.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I didn't know they called it soccer. That's interesting.
We may be the only two nations, right, that call it
Yeah, for
soccer.
sure. Has to be.
I don't
Right?
know if anybody else does.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Canada, maybe they refer to it as soccer.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe. They have like a big French influence. Who
That's what I
knows?
was
All right.
about to say. They got a lot
Yeah.
of French population
Yeah.
there, so maybe it is football.
We'll have to look into that. That's
They
interesting.
do have the Canadian Football League, so
Oh, you see, they're probably not going to call it football then because they have
it
actual
says
American
U.S.,
clubs.
Canada, Australia, South Africa, and some Asian countries call it soccer.
All right, because they give us shit about that all the time. Why we call it soccer. And, I mean, we already have football, so we can't have another football. All right, so sort of what we wanted to do is let me see if I can pull up on the screen here. Kind of go through the groups real quick. You've been watching most of the matches. You're hardcore into this. You have a podcast that I put the link below, so you'll be able to school us. We're kind of casuals, we're not hardcore. So
yeah, so I'm a pretty avid soccer fan. I follow Arsenal, so I got my Arsenal jersey on today.
Gunners.
Arsenal fan, massive Arsenal fan, and just I just watch a lot of soccer in general. I think I've pretty much I've tried to catch nearly every game live. But when they were sort of on back to back, I was getting most of them. Although one of the fixtures ends up being at about 3 a.m. here, so I'd fall asleep and then I'd wake up again, after about 4 hours and watch the 6 a.m. fixture. But yeah, I've seen most of them. If I haven't, watched it live, I've watched the replay. So I've caught a lot of the World Cup. There's a few teams that stick out to me, that I think are the true, contenders, if you say that. And then there's a few teams that have surprised, but maybe not to me. In Japan being one, I was warning people that Japan will, cause upsets. They're a quality side and they organize themselves well behind the ball. And we've seen it. I mean, they beat Spain today and they beat Germany in their first game. It's pretty funny that they lose to Costa Rica, and that's the loss that they have when, Costa Rica got absolutely pummeled by Spain. But yeah, look, it's been a phenomenal World Cup. I would say, a big improvement on this World Cup compared to Russia World Cup was, in Russia, they just started using VAR. It was very, very new, the technology back then. And the way that they were using it throughout that tournament, it put a dampener on the tournament and actually made it, not as good viewing, in my opinion. There was quite a few penalties that were given in the Russia tournament that were pretty average. So I think that's come a long way. And then there's been exciting games, upsets, and big teams not performing the way they should, and smaller nations performing above their standards. So that's what you want to see in the World Cup. So it's firming up massively to heading towards the round of 16.
Yeah, what I liked mostly was that it almost seemed like anything could happen. Like nothing was for sure. We'll go through the groups here real quick, and we'll see.
That's the World Cup in general. No, that's how you should go into it. You never know what's gonna happen. 2014 Spain got knocked out in the group stage. 2018 Germany got knocked out in the group stage. There's certain things that
Those
it's
two almost
it's
got knocked out this year.
yeah, it's the World Cup, man.
Germany's gone. They're
Yeah.
Yeah,
gone.
they're gone now.
But they nearly both were knocked out there for a little bit.
Yeah, they were.
That's back to back World Cups for Germany. They're out in the group stage.
So let's look at the groups here real quick. I got them on the screen, and sort of we could just comment a little bit on each group as we go through them. Anything stick out for you here, Sauce, in this group?
So look, I predicted Netherlands to top the group. They're the strongest side in that group. I'm not convinced with them going forward into the tournament once they start competing against the better sides. I even think the US actually has a chance to knock them off. I mean, if they play the way the USA plays the way that they did against England, albeit they didn't get on the right, they ended up drawing. But, if they play in that manner and the manner that they came out in the first half against Iran, you're more than a chance to definitely, get a goal and put up a good fight against the Netherlands, which is, a team that has lacked a little bit of creativity for the guys that they have on the park. But at the same time, they've only conceded one goal the whole tournament. So their defense has been really, really solid. So, they've got that going for them. But you guys have that going for you as well. You've only conceded one goal. So it's going to be a big, big matchup in the next round. But look, Senegal surprised me. I will say that. I thought they would struggle a bit with Sadio Mane not being there, being injured. Liverpool, former Liverpool superstar, now Bayern Munich superstar. I thought they would struggle, but they've impressed, and I think they can make some waves in the next round. And I don't know exactly who they got, but I wouldn't want to be facing Senegal because they got pace all over the park. Qatar, shocking. I predicted them to finish bottom of the group. And Ecuador, they impressed me, the way that they played and the fact that they had such a good defensive record until, they ended up playing Senegal where, it all fell apart. So,
yeah, it would have been nice to see them go through. They had some nice performances. But
Senegal has England in the round of 16.
Not an easy matchup for England.
Definitely
that's for sure.
not. But yeah, dude, just like how you were saying, man, I thought they were gonna struggle a lot without Mane. Very disappointing, man. I was looking forward to that team. Even though I wanted Ecuador to win in that matchup, but what a game Senegal has been. Their games have been crazy, dude. I really thought they were going to struggle without Mane.
Yeah, they play an entertaining brand of soccer. So, they're fun to watch and they're always they're always opportune to score goals. And in that game against Ecuador, where they did beat them in the end, they could have been 2 goals, 3 goals up within the first 15 minutes. They missed some absolutely, golden chances. And in the end, they did get the win and they go on to qualify. But it could have been a lot. The scoreline could have looked a lot better in favor of Senegal, and they deserve to go through the way they played.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go through to Group B, and this is certainly the way people in the U.S. hoped it would go for and thought it could go, but it was pretty tight, right? This could have a couple plays here and there, maybe things gone differently.
This I thought was going to be one of the most even groups that there was in the whole tournament. But it kind of did pan out that way, but I didn't see Wales finishing like that at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tank. I didn't see that. I predicted Wales to be a lot better than they were, and after the first game and what I seen, I was sort of slowly changing my opinion. And yeah, they were pretty average, Wales, and I think it's a fair result. How this group has panned out. England was by far the best team in the group. That USA unlucky in a sense to maybe not get the win when they versed them, but a draw was a fair result. And then the USA showed their quality against Iran, which they were able to get one win on the board, and that maybe people seeing them going further. But I had Iran not to qualify from this group. That's I picked England, Wales originally, but I thought look, I literally think it's a toss of the coin between USA and Wales. But in the end, USA showed their class. And look, the way that they played overall over all 3 games, they deserve to be there.
For sure.
Yeah, the one that got me was the goal. We had that we were up 1-0 in that match with Wales, and then we give up the equalizer later, and then I thought, man, that might come back to bite us, but they were able to pull it through. So maybe some similarities between USA and Australia. A lot of try to score 1 goal and then hang on for dear life. Is that sort of what's going on?
Yeah, well, I think sometimes you just gotta, you gotta understand your personnel that you have out on the park, and play to your strengths. And a game of soccer goes for 90 minutes. It's a game of momentum. There'll be 5 to 10 minutes within the game where that team is just clearly and visibly on top. And in those 5 to 10 minutes that you're on top, you need to be able to take one of those chances that you're going to create, or, and get that goal, because, 5 minutes later after that, you could be under pressure and sitting on your box and having to defend for dear life. So, you got to take those chances when they come, and the US has done that. And Pulisic, perfect chance, perfect example, that you went forward a lot, but you didn't really create a clear-cut opportunity. But when the clear-cut opportunity came, Pulisic was on the spot to bang it in the back of the net. Same with Australia. We didn't create a lot against Denmark. But when we did get that one chance on the break, and it was a 2-on-1,
what a beautiful goal!
It was a brilliant finish by Matt Leckie, and put it in the bottom corner. So look, then defending comes down to it. Credit to the coach. He changed his formation, brought on Zimmerman at the end there, was able to defend. He was getting to every aerial ball, and you locked it up in the end. And sometimes that you got to play like that. And look, I will say that as a Italian heritage, the Italians have done that at a number of World Cups and won the World Cup. They've, not conceded very, very few goals, not kicked a lot of goals, but they've gone on to win the World Cup, and they've done it off the back of a strong defense.
I just wish out of the U.S. we would get a little something more on the set pieces. It just seems like we're not doing anything good on those, but that could change, hopefully. But I think we need something out of there just to help us get a little extra. All right, how about Group C? Any surprises here for you?
Me, no surprises. I had Argentina finishing top. I had Poland finishing in second. I actually picked the Argentina-Poland double. And look, Saudi Arabia by far was the worst team in this group. They did shock Argentina in the first game, and I'm not going to lie, I was sweating because I had a few bets on where I had Argentina to finish on top of the group, and I was like, oh my, of course, it'd be my luck that Argentina somehow finds a way to finish second in the group. But they showed their class. I think that was the bit of the kick in the ass they needed. Maybe they had a bit of complacency.
Sure.
They were 36 games unbeaten up until that point.
Sure.
And then they get beat by Saudi Arabia, which is by far the worst team in the group. We've seen that. Mexico put them to the sword. Poland was able to, I think Poland might have beat them as well. So, other than beating Argentina, they were terrible. After that was Saudi Arabia. And it was very entertaining watching these games and seeing how it was all panning out, because at one point Mexico was going through, and then, Mexico concedes a goal, and now Poland's back through, and, Poland, by the skin of their teeth, have got through. I think they will be knocked out in the next stage, whoever they verse. Doesn't matter who they verse. I think the other team will be better than them. Look, no surprises.
They got France in the crosshairs. France has them in the crosshairs.
Yeah, so they're going out, and look, Argentina are looking really good. And they look, Brazil, Argentina, and Germany were my 3 picks to win the tournament. Germany's out, so I'm now with Brazil and Argentina. So I think Argentina is one of the teams that I think can win the tournament with Brazil.
Yeah, better that happened to them in the first game, and sort of
for sure
got that
100%
wake-up call rather than anywhere else. I guess if you want to lose one game, it's that one.
I think that's exactly what it was, and I think we needed it a lot, man. I think we were going in cocky with that 36 non-losing streak, and it bit us, man. We didn't get that record. Fuck the record. I didn't care about it, but I'm glad it happened, man. Uh I think we in that back in that polling game, I think we became that Copa America Argentina that that was playing because we were in 8 against Saudi Arabia and we were in 8 against Mexico. Um, I think we played against Mexico. We played a very defensive game, which I don't think is our strong suit. I think we're more of a attacking team, and I saw that against Poland. Man, we scored and we didn't drop back. We didn't keep defending. We kept going towards the goal and we kept scoring. And I think that's the way we need to keep going in this tournament.
Yeah, your attacking positioning and play was so much better in that Poland game against them, and the way that you move the ball very far side to side around the box. You play those nice 1-2s with Messi, and got guys on the box in really got guys in the box in good positions and was able to, if Acuna could cross from that left hand side, you could probably had more goals because he had that many opportunities to hit targets in the box and he kept missing it. And I was going like at this point here, I needed Argentina to win to finish on top of the group for my bets. So I'm going, Acuna, come on, man, come on, can't you cross? And I was just going off yelling at the screen. But they got there in the end, and look, Argentina looked really, really good. And when they piece it all together, the defense is strong. That midfield, I think DePaul and Fernandez have come into their own in that central midfield roles. And DePaul especially, who was in my opinion, was by far the worst player on the pitch against Saudi Arabia.
100.
I'll tell you that right now. He was terrible. I was surprised he got the start in the next game.
But they were calling for him to not play, yeah.
Yeah, he showed confidence, the coach, and he played good in the game against Poland. So, look, I can't take anything away from him.
So that was the biggest upset in World Cup history, right? When Saudi Arabia beat Argentina. Is that right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably.
And then let me ask you one thing about this group before we move on to D, or in specific one play in one of these games. Argentina, Poland, they give that penalty to Messi. What did you think about that? Did you see that penalty where the goalkeeper
Yep.
sort of going out for the ball, and he, after the play, I don't think it would have affected the play. He kind of pokes him in the eye inadvertently, right?
Yeah, look, I personally think it's a penalty, and that's just because if you're talking about, sometimes you see where a player comes to receive the ball, and when he receives the ball, there's a defender right up behind him, and he maybe flicks that ball up, and then the defender comes behind him and collects him. You get a foul. So just because it's in the box and it's the keeper, you should still get a foul. So the keeper, if the keeper touched the ball or just skim the ball with his glove, no foul. But the fact that he didn't touch the ball and then he follows through, hits Messi in the head, I think that's a penalty. At the same time, I've seen other ones in the tournament where something similar has happened in the box when a guy's having a strike on goal and the defender tries to block it and he gets the shot off and it goes on target and the defender comes through and cleans him up and he still doesn't get the penalty. So, we've seen it go one way and we've seen it not go the other way in certain aspects. But I think it should be a penalty because, you have no right to clean up the player or get taken out after you get rid of the ball. Because that potentially stops you from making another play on the ball you're taking out of the play. So I think it's a foul. But yeah, look, he missed it, and surprisingly, but there was, he made up for it in the second half. He was really
nice save,
pulling the strings.
Yeah, I guess that's the key. What you said about the ball.
Stenzi is a former Arsenal goalkeeper, right?
Yeah, Szczesny. Yep.
Szczesny, yeah, hell of a keeper, man.
We have a saying here in basketball, when you get like a foul that's sort of close or ticky-tacky, and then you take your free throw and it doesn't go in, you say the ball doesn't lie. And I thought kind of the ball didn't lie there. He missed it. So it was like, it was – I get that it's probably the right call, but it just seemed, it
just built up the theatrics of the game even bigger, didn't it? Like at that point when he missed it, it was just it just made more the entertainment, the anxiety for all the Argentinian fans just went up a hell of a lot at that point in moment.
Yeah, and he's missed one previous World Cup too against Iceland, I think. Messi.
Yeah, I think he has two. I saw that. That's like a record. Only player to have two penalties blocked. And
Yeah.
Sauce, was Chesney part of that unbeaten Arsenal team?
No. That was like a long time ago. But no, he started at Arsenal when he was very young. And look, he moved away from Arsenal just because there wasn't at the time, first team opportunity, and he's done really well for himself. He's a starting goalkeeper for Juventus in Serie A, so he's doing really well for himself, and he's a top keeper. So
Which was the team that did the recent unbeaten? Was it Liverpool? They had a recent unbeaten Premier League season. I thought it
nah,
was
no,
somebody
no
who
one
had
in
it recently.
recent memory. I think no one in recent memory that I can remember off the top of my head.
All right, let's go move on to Group D here. France, Australia, moving through. This is your group here. Uh, we talked a little bit about it. I guess most people were thinking Denmark here, but um, it's some big parties down in Australia after that last match.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's going to get even bigger for the next match. I mean, I couldn't imagine what would happen if we somehow pulled off the biggest upset of all time against Argentina, which I'll tell you right now, I do not see happening. I really think Argentina, maybe we can get a goal on them because we've been able to score against nearly every opponent, or we have scored against every opponent thus far. But I think Argentina will beat Australia 3-1, maybe 4-1. It'll be a pretty easy victory for them. But props to our nation getting through. This is look. I'll just put it into perspective for people. Like at the time when we've made 5 World Cups in a row, and our first World Cup that we hadn't made a World Cup for like 50 years. I think that was back in 2006. At the time, we had quite a few players in that team that were playing at top leagues around the world. I think 5 or 6 of the starting 11 were playing at starting for teams in the top Italian league, Serie A, or the Premier League, or the French league. We had quite a few players at a higher level, and people in this country called that the golden generation, like what you guys are sort of labeling your current crop of USA players, the golden generation, the best players that sort of come to about. So these guys, on the other hand, that we currently have in there, we don't really have anyone that's starting for a top club or a team in a top league around the world. A lot of the players in there are from our home league, the A League, the Australian League. And there's a few players that are playing over in the Scottish League and a few other leagues around the world, but no top top 5 leagues or top 6 leagues. So there's no one really in there from those leagues. And so the feat for us to qualify is just probably one of the greatest sporting achievements that this country has ever done, to get out of that group and get past the likes of Denmark. So look, well done, but the road stops there. Tank, your boys, the Argentinians are going to definitely smash us. I've got no doubts about it. Look, I will believe until it's all over, but yeah, I can't see it happening. I can't see it happening. And then on the other side, you got France, the absolute powerhouse. They will absolutely demolish whoever they were playing. We spoke about it. Poland,
Yeah.
they'll destroy them. France is just another beast. If Mbappe has been outstanding this tournament, and yeah, I think it will be much of the same. It will be close, but I think France Poland will struggle to score, and I think it will be 2-0.
Mbappe looks less selfish this time around, doesn't he?
Well, maybe he's just grown as a player. He was younger last time, so maybe he's just grown as a player, playing with the like Messi, Neymar. You got to share the ball around when you have such quality on your team. And that's much the same when he comes up in this France team. There's so much quality there that you can't be that type of player. But yeah, he can literally change the game on his. I mean, he's got that Ronaldo aspect about when Ronaldo was in his younger days, where he was so fast, he had so much pace, he could run past people, and then he finished really well. he could change the game just by himself. You know, he picks up the ball, runs past guys, is able to put balls in, able to get shots on target. He's unbelievable.
The GOAT, he was asking me earlier. I don't think you were on. He was asking me who I think the GOAT is or would be taking out Messi. I took out Messi and Ronaldo because arguably, those two guys are the best players right now, if not of all time. And taking them two out, I had to say Mbappe because he's world class. You can't compare.
Yeah, he's definitely the up and coming.
Yeah, when they're not here anymore, he's gonna be winning the Ballon d'Or.
Who's your top 5, real quick, off the top of your head? Top 5 players in the world. Sauce.
Like currently playing, or
yeah, currently playing right now.
Yeah, it would be I mean, this is in no order, so don't.
Yeah, no worries. Just
I mean, you got to put Messi in there. I think Messi, Mbappe, look, Ronaldo's still a top player. He's still playing, but I'll take into account his whole career than not what's just happened this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll go up there with currently Kevin De Bruyne, even though he didn't have a very good tournament. He's been outstanding for his club, and he's just pulled the strings for that Manchester City side. And then from there, I mean, I didn't even know. I mean, you probably have to maybe throw Haaland in there as well. So that probably rounds out the 5. So yeah, I'll probably go with those 5 players. And okay. I mean, and you could. I've got a couple of young ones and then some older ones in there, but there's a few other players that could easily chop in and out of there. But yeah, it's tough. It's so tough to say. It's a tough question, but that's off the top of my head. I'd be happy. If I was picking a 5-a-side and I got to have those 5 players, I'm telling you right now, I don't think there's another 5 players that would beat them.
Yeah, you're not going to go wrong with any of those guys, I guess. Here's what I think from a guy who doesn't know a lot of soccer. This is what I think Australia has going for it against Argentina. You guys need to wear the jerseys that look like Brazil, and then Argentina may have like some post-traumatic stress syndrome from back in the days, and then you guys, you could throw them off their game psychologically, and they think they're playing Brazil, then, anything could happen.
No, I mean, we definitely don't pass it like Brazil.
Saudi Arabia beat them. Anything could happen, it could happen.
That's 100, man. Like I said, it's the World Cup, man. I think we can beat them, but fuck, man. After Saudi Arabia, we were 36 unbeaten, and then these guys take us down. We definitely needed it. I'm glad it happened because we look a lot better now.
For sure. Now you mentioned the build, the kind of makeup of this Australia team. A lot of guys from your domestic league and maybe some other guys playing in some other leagues, but they're not those top leagues. Do you think like a tournament like this and sort of a performance like this, maybe some clubs take notice and like, hey, maybe those guys could play, in some of these other leagues? Does that sort of thing happen after something like this?
Yeah, you do see that. You see guys that get contracts after a World Cup. We've seen a number of times. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the name James Rodriguez. He used to play for Real Madrid. Yeah, I mean,
is Colombian.
Yeah,
Colombian. Yeah,
that's exactly who I was thinking of when he asked.
He had an amazing tournament, and was playing for a lower side. And Real Madrid came along and said after the World Cup, "Hey, we've got a contract for you," and signed him up. So you see that all the time with players at the World Cup where they play play well on the big stage, and then they get rewarded with contracts at quality clubs. So like I think there's a few sides here. I think we've got some defenders that probably maybe could be playing at a higher level based off of how well we've defended in this tournament. But yeah, I think there is, and there are a few players, don't get me wrong, that have played in the Premier League. I mean, we've got Aaron Moy in midfield, who used to play for Brighton when in the Premier League, but he's getting old. He's getting a bit older, so he's moved away from the Premier League as he's gotten older, and he's more towards the end of his career. But he's still a quality soccer player. So we have had a few guys. Matt Ryan in goals used to play for Brighton as well in the Premier League. So we have a few guys there that do have that sort of big league experience, but a lot of the guys are from the local league or they're playing at maybe at the championship level, which is the second division in England, or they're playing in the Scottish league. So yeah, look, we're up against it. I don't expect us to do very well. If we somehow pull off a victory, I mean, by all means, I'm hope you welcome me back on the show next week. Or
100%. We'd love to have you back.
Sure, man.
So
yeah, we plan to do a couple more of these. Yeah, man, it'd be awesome.
Celebrate. But yeah, look, I don't think we'll. As I said, I'm going 3-1 or 4-1 to Argentina, and they'll just have too much class. Look, we might do well in the first half, and we could go in at halftime, 0-0. But when you got to play 2 halves of football plus potentially extra time, you got potentially 120 minutes of football that we would have to survive against them. And I think if the only way we could win would be somehow we win it 1-0 and we hang on for our dear life, or we take it to penalties. That's the only 2 scenarios that I can see that we somehow win the game. Because I actually genuinely can't see how we even kick 2 goals against you. If we were to get it to 1-1, or was you got up 1-0 and we had to come back and kick 2 goals or something like that. Like, I just can't see us getting 2 goals. So it's either going to be like go to 1-1, draw all the way to penalties, or we somehow win 1-0 in normal time or in extra time. That's the only 2 scenarios I can see how Australia qualifies.
You mentioned James Rodriguez, and you got that big contract after World Cup. Do you think that guy's, and again, asking, not knowing, has that guy's career kind of lived up to that hype potential after that?
Nah, probably not.
He had a couple nice games in Real Madrid, but hey, he did. Granted, they played Paraguay now before the World Cup started, or in between while it was going on. He made a nice goal against them. He took one of the defenders and then he chipped the goalie. Nice goal, dude. He's a hell of a player, a great player, but definitely did not live up to that 2014 World Cup, James.
I mean, it's not easy, man. Like Real Madrid, like it's such a big club, and you got to prove yourself there to be starting every week. And he's had good moments there, but it probably didn't live up to that quality that you're seeing. Like, I don't know if he's ever got. I mean, he was scoring ridiculous goals. I think he won the goal of the tournament in that World Cup.
He was there with probably prime Ronaldo. Yeah, you can't. You're gonna be overshadowed. It's Real Madrid is that kind of club where they have superstars, not just stars. So it was hard. He was in Monaco before that, right?
Yep.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played 34 matches there, 9 goals, 85 for Real Madrid, 29 goals, and then on loan at Bayern Munich. All right, and then let's talk about today's games, Group E and F.
Before we go there,
yeah,
Denmark. What a
disappointment,
a letdown, man.
Yeah,
dude, they were the alleged dark horses of the tournament. They got 1 goal the whole tournament.
Yeah,
that was shocking, man.
That was tough to watch, man. Even against Australia, like they just struggled to create. Their best chance came from a corner that was, floated to the back post, and the guy had a wide open header and he headed it over the bar. But that was their best chance of the game. Came from a set piece, a corner. A team like Denmark, you should be able to create throughout open play, not relying on set pieces and corner kicks. So, very disappointing. I can't disagree with you, Tank. Like, super disappointing.
I listened to this podcast. I don't know if you've heard of it, The Give and Go. They it's a soccer podcast, and they've been doing like a whole bunch of like deep dives into every team about that's in the World Cup. And when they did Argentina, they had Denmark coming second in the group and us facing them, and he had Denmark knocking us out in the round of 16. So I was like, damn, like, granted, I didn't know much about Denmark. The only person I knew was Eriksson. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, fuck, it's going to be tough. And dude, when I was watching these games, I was like, I don't think this is who they were talking about. It was shocking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an understatement. They were very, very hard to watch, and disappointing considering some of the quality they got there, and some of the coaching decisions by whoever their coach is. Just, I mean, I'm a bit dumbfounded. I mean, a game against Australia, you have to win, and you don't start Damsgaard, who was arguably your best player at the European Championships, that just went past. So, and played nearly most minutes and started a lot of games after Eriksson obviously went down with his unfortunate collapse. Then Damsgaard stepped into his spot and had an amazing tournament. So, the fact that he didn't pay the faith and go with him again and start him, especially in a game in Australia where you need the win and they lacked creativity, is, I don't know what the coach was
They
doing.
made a pretty deep run in the Euros, right?
Yeah, they did really, really well. And I think that's why a lot of people expected them to do well in this tournament.
Was it
But
quarters or did they even go to semis?
I'm not sure.
I thought I heard there were semis. Maybe you can check that. Talking like a guy that doesn't watch a lot, and I can't rely on the knowledge that
They
you
lost
guys,
in semis 2-1 to England.
There you go.
Damn.
So I don't have the knowledge you have, Sauce, but I watch a lot of sports, and then when you watch some games, it's easier to gauge intangibles. It's very cliche to say. I think in that game, Australia and Denmark, it just seemed like Australia wanted that more for what. There is a measurement to that, right? There's a measurement to like who wants something more, and it just seemed like Australia just left it all out there, and they just did everything that they could, and it didn't seem like Denmark was doing that
Comparable
for whatever reason.
to U.S. England.
Yeah,
the U.S. they wanted that win, I think, but ultimately it ended up being a draw, which it was a good outcome for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the last time we played them in the World Cup, we drew with them as well. Maybe 2010, maybe if I'm not mistaken, we had a draw with them. All right, so we kind of talked about today's games a little bit. Japan and Spain go through. That was crazy. There was a moment where Spain was out and Costa Rica would have been in. I don't think Germany today was in any real position because I think Japan was ahead most of the match, if I'm not mistaken.
So yeah, Spain was up 1-0, and at that
Okay.
point there, Germany was going through because they
That's
were beating
right.
Costa Rica.
Yes.
But then in the second half, so Japan was up 1-0. Spain was up 1-0 halftime. Similar to the German game, Japan came out in the second half and turned the game on its head within 5 minutes, 10 minutes or something, where they kicked 2 goals very close together, and then they've gone up 2-1, and then they've been able to hold on to the end and get the win over Spain. And look, I'll just give myself a pat on the back because I said to people, like, look, this group looks very, very simple. It looks like Spain, Germany. Doesn't really matter where they, it's hard to pick who's going to finish on top, Spain or Germany, but both those teams are going through. And that was the consensus from, I reckon 98% of people was just look at that group and go, yeah, look, they're going through those two teams. And I told people, well, I think you need to hold up. I actually thought it was going to be Spain was going to be the team that struggled and Germany was going to come through and qualify. But I got that part wrong. But what I didn't get wrong was Japan, causing upsets and being a very well organized side, which they showed throughout all their games. And, they were able to cause some upsets. And
did you have
finish
them
on top of the
finishing
group.
first?
I didn't have them finishing first. I had them finishing second. And I had Spain or Germany, one of them finishing on top. But, to just say that they were going to qualify, I think people would have laughed at you if you were saying, no, Japan's going to qualify. And I'm telling you, they're going to qualify. And that's what I was telling people. And I thought it was going to be, as I said, Spain that was going to miss out. But it's Germany in the end. But, yeah, Japan finished top. They versed Morocco. Does that mean they versed Croatia in the next round? They versed
which is a little tougher. It's Spain, I think, got the better outcome of the match, but definitely, yeah. I mean, they upset them. Japan has never really been a bad team. They haven't been a traditionally bad team. They've always been decent, not top tier, but an okay team for sure.
They have a really, really good system over in Japan in bringing young talent up through the J League. Funny enough, I actually watch a bit of J League because one of the sporting subscriptions I got that has Premier League, they've also got J League. So
Oh,
when the games
you're
are
a
on,
junkie, man.
yeah, I'm a junkie, man. Like I'll just watch whatever sport. Like I just look for something that's live sport, and I'll watch it. Like I'll watch any games. So I'll watch some of the J League, and the quality of football there is pretty good. Soccer, the quality of soccer there is pretty good. And they've got a really good system in how they bring up the talent, and that each team within the J League can only have X amount of international players, and you've got to field X amount of Japanese players on the field every game. So they make it that the Japanese players get opportunity to build their skills and talents, and that's why I said and also just the Japanese way, just the way that Japanese are, and being so regimented and structured, and that's sort of how their society is, and that's how they bring their football. They're just like they're so structured, and
football,
they're just they're just so structured, and everything is precise, and they've done that to a T this tournament. And going into the next game, I mean, against Croatia, I think it's going to be a very tough test. I thought Croatia was, we'll talk about them in a sec, but I think Croatia is one of the teams that could do, they did make the final last World Cup, and they're slowly starting to get back to some of that better football that they played, obviously, after the first game where they didn't play too well, but they've been better in their next following games.
What do you think? What do you guys think Germany's future is with this current crop of players?
Dude, great, bro. I think they're gonna be nice. I think they could even make another deep run in the World Cup, maybe win another World Cup. They have some nice young talent. Dude, personally, I don't like Germany. I'm Argentinian. They took that World Cup from us. I'm salty about that.
This was the best news of the day for Argentina fans, that Germany got eliminated.
Yes, bro. I was ecstatic about it. But dude, they have Musiala, which is a great player. He looks like he's actually being the one making the plays and leading the team almost. Even though they have Thomas Mueller on there as the veteran of the team. And I got to give it to Leroy Sané, man. That guy is a world-class player. He didn't look as good as he does in Bayern Munich in the World Cup, but obviously Bayern Munich has hell of a talented group there. I think they've won the league 10 times in a row now, if I'm not mistaken, Sauce. I don't know if you can...
Yeah, something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
I think Sané is great. I think Germany has a nice future ahead of them. But this was not the World Cup, Obviously, they got knocked out early again. They'll learn from it, I think. And I think they have a nice future.
Yeah, so Argentina's dad is out for this World Cup, at least. All right, moving on to Group F, guys.
Let's do it.
And that was the other matchups today. Were you surprised by Morocco, or?
I was.
Sauce,
I don't know Moroccan football, so.
Yeah, so look, I'll just say this. I mean, when I did my write up of each group and what I thought would happen, I did a bit of a write up, a betting write up, and I sent it to a few friends and people, and some people hopefully made some money off it. I've done pretty well, but in this group, I said, Belgium, the bookmakers had Belgium finishing top, and it's pretty hard to argue with that when you have a look at their team. But I don't think it's all straightforward. Croatia, they're underestimating Croatia. I think they could potentially finish top. And then I went on to say that don't underestimate Morocco. They've got some quality players in Boufal and Ziyech, and they were the two players that I said, and they were the two players that really turned the screws for Morocco and ended up, paying off dividends. Morocco play a very, very good brand of football. They've got guys that can hit you on the counter. They've got pace. They've got guys that have flair, which, you always need when you got guys with that type of flair and ability to change the game off their own boot. It's always an advantage. So look, am I surprised that they finished top, Morocco? Yeah, probably, because I thought maybe Croatia could finish on top. But I wasn't 100% sure about Belgium. I thought, yeah, look, they should have enough to get over the line, but I wasn't 100% confident with them. And I was more confident that Croatia could potentially finish on top of the group. So I'm surprised that Morocco has finished on top, but I'm not surprised that they've qualified because I thought they had a good enough team. And the running into this tournament has been pretty good. I think they went pretty well in the last African Cup of Nations tournament leading up into the World Cup. So, yeah, look, I'm not surprised that they qualified, but nonetheless, it's been a big, accomplishment for them, if you ask me. And, they've opened up the door for themselves, but also at the same time, they've closed the door for themselves because they've got to verse Spain in the next round.
So Belgium, not quite a disappointment of Denmark proportions, but still a disappointment nonetheless.
Massive disappointment. They're number 2 ranked nation in the world.
Huge
Don't
disappointment.
Forget,
they were
even more than even more.
They were number 2 and they were 3rd place last World Cup.
So this is even a bigger disappointment.
Yeah, for sure. Denmark, they were a dark horse.
Also, 1 goal.
Dude, no, yeah, just like Denmark. Nobody expected Denmark to, make it super far, but if it happened, it would have been like, it could have. People expected Denmark. They were favorites. Belgium. They were favorites. Sauce and go. I don't know if you guys saw. Kevin De Bruyne said that this is not their World Cup. That they're old.
Mm-hmm.
That the last one was theirs. Like,
you can't say that.
You don't say that, man.
I mean, I have to agree with him because they are getting older.
It's for sure. It's
maybe he's 100%. Not wrong, but you can't say it.
I don't think you say that publicly.
He can't say that. I mean, is what I'm saying as a player.
Yeah, I agree. But you look, this is Belgium football done, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I don't think there's going to be another time until they bring another crop of players. But I look at this side. You've got who started Mertens, Carrasco, Witsel, De Bruyne, Meunier, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, and they're just all the guys that I know the name of. They're all old.
Courtois in the goal too,
and Courtois in the goal. De Bruyne is 31. Witzel's 33. Mertens is 35. Carrasco is 29. So maybe he's around in the next World Cup. So
the end of a cycle here, kind of.
It's an end of a cycle for Belgium football, and it's going to be a long time before they come up with another crop of players that could potentially win a World Cup. Lukaku's 29, so he's going to be 35 by the next.
Lukaku, bro.
33 by the next World Cup. 34.
Oh my God, he ate all those goals, dude.
He stunk it up and. Thank you. I thank Lukaku because I actually had Croatia to qualify, so I'm happy that he missed those goals and Croatia got over the line.
Dude.
That was almost like a Higuain,
yes.
It was really bad.
Dude, my brother's an Inter fan. He hates Lukaku, bro. He doesn't come up in those big moments. He says.
All right, so
pretty bad finishing today, and some of those chances were just.
Oh. I think I could have made that last one, maybe. So let's go on. This is the last 2 groups, which is tomorrow's action before we move on to the knockout stage. We got a couple of teams here that are already through, right? Brazil's through no matter what. Portugal's through. And then I guess everything else is up for grabs here.
I think it's Brazil, Switzerland, Cameroon, Serbia. So if Brazil wins, that leaves up in a spot for Cameroon.
Brazil's versus Cameroon and Switzerland's versus Serbia. So it sets up a massive, massive game between Switzerland and Serbia. Switzerland, I believe, can just get a draw, at least a draw, and they'll qualify. And Serbia needs to get the win to qualify. So, I don't think Cameroon's going to beat Brazil. So that will probably end, Brazilian win or at least a draw, and that will secure them top spot. There is one possibility where Brazil could potentially not finish on top, and it would have to be that Cameroon pretty much beats them or draws with them, and Switzerland goes on to win their game by at least 4 goals or more. So ridiculous chance that Switzerland could finish on top, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. Who do I think is going to win between Switzerland and Serbia? I think Well, look, Switzerland, who's going to qualify? Serbia needs to get the win. Switzerland haven't really impressed me too much, other than the goals that they've scored. They haven't been massively they've only kicked one goal. They haven't been massively, good at creating chances. I think Serbia in the last game, they should have won that game. They were up 3-1. And they were still throwing 5-6 players forward, being up 3-1. They shouldn't have done that. They should have just parked the bus and held on, and they would have been able to get out of there with a win. But they got caught by Cameroon, and credit to Cameroon because they were able to get a point in the end. But I think Serbia, with their ability to create and what they were able to do against Cameroon, they were disappointing against Brazil. But I mean, it is Brazil, so what do you expect? They should be able to create enough chances to beat Switzerland, and I expect Serbia to qualify and for them to win.
Will there be some rest on any of these two teams, Brazil and Portugal, by some major players, or they're gonna sort of?
I think Brazil will rotate a few players. They'll definitely put some guys on, like maybe Martinelli starts instead of coming off the bench. And you have Vinicius Junior on the bench. I think there will be a bit of rotation, but I mean, come on, you could put that second 11 from the Brazilian team in another group, and they'd still top the group. That's how good that second 11 of Brazil is.
And Neymar going to be out of?
He won't play.
That's it. He's out for the tournament.
No. He'll be back. He'll be back. I think it was just a bruised ankle, swelled up. So I think he'll be back for the knockout stages, but they won't risk him in tomorrow's game.
That seems smart. How about Ronaldo?
Dude, I saw a meme. I saw a meme about Brazil that they were taking out. It was like, oh, good, Brazil's taking out Richarlison and somebody else. I forget who it was. And then they're like, I wonder who they're bringing in. And they were bringing on Gabriel Jesus and Anthony. And it's like, wow, there's no difference, right? They're crazy. It's crazy, bro. They have a nice chance to take this World Cup.
It's amazing.
Man, this team's just as stacked as the Golden State Warriors when KD was there, man. Like that's how stacked this team is, man. Like it's just like that's the scenario you're dealing with. Like it's unbelievable.
So what are we looking at in Group H? Is Portugal resting anybody, you think, here in this next game tomorrow?
I think it's that same scenario that he said about where they can get second if Ghana wins their game.
Okay, so it's still...
Which is a tough game against Uruguay, man. That's going to be a crazy game.
Yeah, so look, I don't think it's a low possibility. I think Portugal just does enough to get a win. Maybe they win, 2-0, 2-1. Maybe Korea is good enough to get a goal. But I think Portugal will... they'll go out there with a pretty strong side and maybe try get up by a goal at halftime. And then at worst case scenario, they get a draw and they secure that top spot. Because I tell you what, they don't want to run the risk that somehow Ghana plays an amazing game.
Yes.
They have kicked 5 goals in the tournament compared to Uruguay's 0.
Right.
So, by some chance that Ghana go on to win by 4 goals and finish on top of Portugal, and Portugal's then forced to face Brazil. I don't think they're going to want that. So I think they'll go in there and just make sure that they secure a point and finish on top so that they can either verse Switzerland or Serbia in the following round. And that sets up a massive game between Ghana and Uruguay. I think Ghana is the better side based off what I've seen. Uruguay have not registered a goal in the tournament. So that just tells you what you need to know about Uruguay. They are horrendous going forward. They are so hard to watch. Just no creativity. They're just a very, very boring side. And
they have some aging guys too, right?
Yeah, aging guys. I mean, look, if you're going to choose between Suarez and Cavani, I'm going to have to tell you, like, even though people think that Suarez is a better player, from what I've seen in this tournament, Cavani at least has still a bit of pace. Suarez has no pace. He can't. You play a ball in behind, he's got no chance. He's lost so much pace as he's gotten older, which is bound to happen. You are getting older, your legs are heavier, and less youth. So look, I want Uruguay to win. I want Uruguay to win because I've still got some bets alive where I've got Uruguay to qualify in the bet. So,
and it's Uruguay Ghana, right? Sauce?
Yeah, it's Uruguay Ghana. So I'm rooting for my pocket. I'm rooting for Uruguay, but my brain and what I've seen off this tournament tells me that Ghana will do enough. at least get a draw to qualify for the next round.
So we expect this group to kind of look like this.
Uruguay. I don't know if you guys remember Uruguay and Ghana was that 2010 controversy where Suarez did the handball and then Ghana missed the penalty and took away the semifinal advance from Ghana in South Africa, the 2010.
This is not the biting. This is another. The biting.
No, the biting was another one. Yeah.
Right.
Suarez did the handball. It was going to be a goal, but he put in his hands and caused it to go out and gave him a penalty. And then the Ghana player missed the penalty. So then Uruguay went on to win and move on to the next round. So there's it's like a little revenge grudge match going on here. And Ghana,
history.
History. Ghana has the upper hand to knock them out.
For a little while, Ghana was the U.S.'s sort of arch nemesis in the previous World Cups that we finally got over that hump. All right.
It's been brewing for 12 years.
So this is sort of what we know of the knockout stage: Netherlands, U.S., Argentina, Australia. We've kind of talked about what we think will happen in some of these. Japan, Croatia.
The England-Senegal game, I think, will be interesting. It's going to be...
That'll be a good matchup. Great matchup. I'm not going to be so straightforward for England. I mean, if England wants to qualify, they're going to have to play some of the football that they played against Iran, where they were just unstoppable. But I think Senegal has a lot better quality on the park than Iran obviously does. And it's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, is Mane 100% out for the tournament?
Yeah, he's out. He's out.
What was his injury?
That's I don't know.
So I want to, in general, for some, again, I don't watch a lot of this all the time, but the VAR, you think it's been good, or are they doing it the right way? Do you think there's a better way that they can do it? The stoppage time I wanted to talk about too. I guess that ties into that, that adds more stoppage time. What do you sort of think about how the VAR has been used and your feelings on that, Sauce?
It's come a long way. From here, I've got a long experience with watching football with VAR, because when it was first introduced to the world that there was going to be a video review system for soccer, there was, I think, 4 leagues around the world that were given the technology by FIFA to test it in their league, because they wanted to see how it worked and how it was implemented before they brought it over to the major leagues and obviously to the major tournaments. And the A League happened to be one of those leagues. So our local league was one of those leagues. So I think we were one of the 5 first countries to ever have to implement the technology. It's come a long way over that time, and the way that they implement it now, I think is really, really well done. I still think there's some improvements that can be done. I think there's certain things like that situation where we had this morning where Japan got a goal off a ball that looked clearly out based off a few camera angles that you've seen against Spain, and I think that's something that the technology could help with if they have the goal line technology all the way across the line. If they had that sort of technology all the way across that byline, maybe the sideline's a bit too much to ask, but across the back line, across the goal, I think that's something that they could implement and it could get better. But I think overall they've used it well. It's come a long way with the way that they interpret the decisions. There was a point in time where it didn't matter how it touched your hand or arm. It was a penalty as long as it was in the box. I think they've gotten better at taking into account the situation. Sometimes, you'll get guys who are really shifty and they'll literally just try to flick the ball up into the player's hand to try to get a penalty on a VAR recall. And they don't sort of fall for that sort of stuff anymore. So look, I think it's been implemented well, overall. And yeah, I'll look the injury time aspect of it. That's always going to add more injury time when there's stoppages and things. It did surprise me the way that how much injury time there was in some of those first games. 8-9 minutes. But I think a lot of that had to do with teams rolling on the floor and trying to soak up time, and the ref was just having none of it. And I think it's gotten better as the games have gone on. We haven't seen 9, 10, 11 minutes because players are realizing, shit, if I roll on the floor, I think the referees have been told at this World Cup to pause their clock, and, add on time. So, you're better off not rolling on the floor, because if you're the team up and you end up having to play out, instead of 5 minutes at a time, 8, 9 minutes at a time at the end, it doesn't help you. So I think it's actually gotten better as the games have gone on, and we've seen, we haven't really seen the big, I mean, we do see some of 8, 9 minutes, but, seeing it come back to the more regular 4 or 5 minutes at a time. And I like it. It adds more theater to the game. They pop up a board at the end. 9 minutes added on, and it just adds more theater, if you ask me. So yeah, I'm all for it.
So yeah, they're trying to combat that time wasting with the stoppage time. Look, coming from a American football fan, and the way we use instant replay, which I guess it's the same thing or a similar thing. One of the things that people didn't like when we started using a lot of instant replay was the constant stopping of the game and just kind of just screeching halt to the action with constant replay. And they have and I don't know if they can find like a happy ground where maybe they can incorporate some of these things, or maybe what I'm saying is totally ridiculous, but hear me out for a second. We have I don't know if you're familiar with American football. We have a challenge system. The coaches are allowed to challenge plays, but they can't challenge every play. I think they can challenge 2. Maybe you could fact check me on this, Tank. I think it's 2 per half. They can throw out a red flag, and if they fail one of those challenges, then they don't get to. They lose a timeout, which is an important thing. I don't know what they would lose in soccer, but maybe a substitution would be too harsh of a penalty. But just sort of to let the officials officiate the game.
You have 2 challengers per game.
Okay, I think you lose a timeout if you get it wrong. Do you think that would be something where they maybe give the managers a challenge so they don't have to stop every close play? Like, you see some of these computer generated offsides, and like the guy's pinky finger is offsides, and that's like, oh, come on. They in the old days, that was just we're playing on, What do you think about that when they're just like slightly over it? And do you think they would benefit with some sort of challenge system where not every single close call is reviewed? And maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe there's not that many calls that are. The Argentina one was 3 disallowed goals. I don't know if you recall that game against Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, when they got caught offside. I mean, I look. The way that they have these computer generated images now and is a far it's come a far way from where it was originally and how they used to determine how it was offside. So look, yeah, I understand that, but I'd rather they just get the right decision made, and I think it just needs to be down to the aspect of a lot of the time, I feel that, I understand that the referee needs to come over and look at the screen, but I feel like the decision should be made by the officiating ref that's actually on the review system. They should already sort of know the decision before that referee comes and then just say, look, this is what I've seen. Here's the best angles. I think it's a penalty. Ultimately, the decision's up to you. What do you think? And then it's either a yes or a no, and you move on from there. But I think it's gotten better. It doesn't take as long as what it used to be. I do feel that sometimes that they do, they slow it down in super slow mo, and it looks a lot worse than what it is. And I would hope that sometimes they would, take into account the fast motion of the game and how it all played out in that quick split second. But yeah, overall, I like the way that it's being implemented and I'm talking on experience of where it was 3 to
You
5
like
years
where
ago.
it's headed. It's going in the
I
right
like where it's
direction.
headed. It's getting better. Like I think there's always improvements, as I said. There's always improvements that they could be making, but it is getting a lot better. And it's something that has to be in the game. It has to be in the game.
Yes, absolutely.
I've literally watched Champions League, big Champions League games get lost off the back of a terrible offside call that should have been offside, and a goal was given. I just don't want to see that sort of result affect what a World Cup, especially a World Cup. So I like the way it's heading.
So you think the guy in the booth? Sorry, Tank. Real quick, you think there should be a guy up in the booth or and that guy should be making the decision and just translating it down rather than the guy on the
Correct
pitch going in?
Correct.
Yeah, that would be better because that guy's sitting there. He has all the ability to go back, forth,
all
everything.
day.
Yes,
that's right.
The other guy
And he
has
should
enough
just
responsibility.
he should like I don't even think the referee should come over and have a look. I
He
think
should just be
maybe
told.
that's like or maybe if it's so clear cut or something, it should just be look, this is 100% a penalty. You got to give it. Da 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 da. If
Right.
it's maybe like look, I don't know why we've got so much. They've got so much technology. Why he doesn't have maybe a watch that has like a 8-inch screen on it or something like that, and he could watch the replay on his watch right there in front of him. Why he has to run all the way over to the side of the pitch? I don't know. Like, there's probably better ways that they could come up with it, but maybe that's the last resort, is telling him to run all the way over there and look at it himself. I think it should be there could be a decision that could be made right there and then by the guy up in the booth. So I think that's how maybe it should evolve, and that would take away a bit of the aspect of time.
Right.
Of how
Save a little bit of time. Yeah, for sure. I got the top goal scorers here on the screen. Any predictions? Anybody want to make a prediction? Who's going to end up with the most goals here?
Mbappe is going to end up on top.
That seems like
France is going deep, and he's looking amazing this tournament. He's already got 3 goals.
That seems like a safe bet.
Morata's not going to keep banging in goals for Spain. Come on, that guy. He at any turn of the corner, he could forget where the goals are.
And do you guys pay any attention to power rankings at all?
I don't really.
We've been doing our own sort of power rankings after the end of each round. So once these round 3 ends, we'll put something out on our socials, Double Coverage Instagram page. And look, it's a bit of fun. I don't really read too much into it, but I think it's a bit of fun to just put them together where you think the teams are in the tournament. And I don't look too much into it.
Does yours look somewhat like this one that I have on the screen here?
It's got France, then Brazil, Spain. It's very similar. Very similar, actually. Let me have a look. The one we created before. I'll grab it.
Yeah, we got Brazil here, Spain, France, Argentina, England, Portugal, Germany, Uruguay, Netherlands, Croatia. I saw some that had U.S. kind of scratching that top 10, maybe even in 10th spot.
Yeah, I got US. We have US in 16th, but that will change now that a few teams have gone out and whatnot. They'll go up further. But I got France, Brazil, Spain, England, Portugal, Ecuador, Argentina, Netherlands, Morocco, Germany was to round out the top 10. But this was after round 2 of games. So now after round 3 of games, we'll obviously revise that and change it around to the teams that did qualify and rank them from 1 to 16.
Okay. And these were the odds, real quick, kind of to wrap it up, guys. I just wanted to show you what the opening odds were back when they did the original draws. And the odds makers here are looking pretty good up until the point you get to Germany, because they're not in it anymore. But all the other teams, the top 5 there, Brazil, England, France, Argentina, Spain are, and then Netherlands. And then there are some surprises when you keep going. I guess US is a big. Will be looking like a decent bet, at least to get this far. Who else? Who below US odds wise is still in this thing?
Australia.
Where are you? Oh my God! Plus 40,000. That means $100 bet would get you $40,000.
What about the
Yep.
Ukraine at 15,000 and they're not even in the World Cup?
Why would they even put them here? Maybe that wasn't determined yet. Let's see.
Maybe this is
Okay, so
before.
it's almost complete. Almost
Yes,
complete.
almost
Okay,
complete.
that's what it is.
It,
Otherwise,
it would be an
that'll
American company making this list.
be
Yeah,
a sucker bet.
a few I reckon about 6 weeks before the tournament, Brazil was at around about plus 650. But then, once the tournament got closer and closer to the tournament, yeah, they were slowly getting in. There was one bookmaker here in Australia that opened up as a new bookmaker, and to get people involved, they had some ridiculous promo where it was like every team is at $101, which is, I don't know how to explain that in what was it, plus 1,000, essentially plus 1,000. So, but you could only bet on it maximum of $10. So
Okay.
a whole bunch of people signed up and just put like $10 on Brazil, England, France, Argentina, Spain, Germany, and as long as one of those teams wins and you've bet like $70 worth of bets, you're going to win $1,000. And then they quit because there were so many people signing up. They quickly revised those odds for the top teams all down to only plus 100 odds. So
Okay.
yeah, not 1,000. So yeah, it was yeah, or plus 1,000 odds.
Plus
So
1,000, but they cap you at $100, so 10 to make 100.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean you're in the money. Yeah, you play your,
But they had it at something ridiculous before that, and yeah, it was pretty funny. There was that many people signing up. So, look, I'm still on Brazil, Argentina. They're the two teams that I think can win.
All right. What's up, Chad, in the chat, brother? How you doing? One of our boys. So tell us about your podcast, man, before we get out of here. And we appreciate your time, man. We went way longer than I told you, but we got into all the groups pretty deep, I think.
No, that's all right. I love getting on and talking sports. Yeah, the podcast is Double Coverage. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast. Check out our Instagram page. So it's at DBL coverage _ or just type in Double Coverage. And yeah, look, we talk sports with a crossover into cards and collecting sports cards and other collectibles as well. Where we chat the hobby. But we talk sport and a bit of cards at the end. It's a bit of an add-on, but always keeping up with the latest around soccer. A bit of NFL. We're not super adverse on NFL, but we will chat about it. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm very happy because I put money on the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl at the start of the season. So they're playing really well. So I'm happy with that at the moment. But yeah, a bit of NFL, UFC, cover a lot of UFC. I'm a big UFC fan and I love tuning into that. And we cover, Australian rules football and soccer as you would have seen. That's why I'm on here speaking and acting like I know a lot about football, soccer.
Oh, you do, man. You obviously you've got. I'm glad we got you, man. You're just the guy we're looking for. It was perfect.
But yeah,
I'll throw
feel
my
free to
name
check
in the
it out.
hat if you need an NFL football come Super Bowl time. We'll be glad to do it,
Sweet.
man. We love. We end up on that subject more often than not. How about boxing? Are you guys into the boxing at all?
Yeah, not too much. I mean, I follow a little bit of boxing. I mean, I just follow the Australian boxers. And I follow a couple of the top guys, but yeah, not a heap, man. I'm a big UFC fan. And MMA just in general. I think that sport is more entertaining for me. But I respect boxers and I respect everything. You gotta. All I'll say is you gotta have balls to step in that ring, man. Like that's whoever steps in there has tremendous balls to, because it's literally a death. You could die in there. One punch and you could potentially be dead, right? So it takes a lot of balls to step in that ring and step in front of someone else and try belt the crap out of each other, I guess. But yeah, a lot of respect for them for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're putting yourself out there to not only physical harm, but like get embarrassed. You get, you're out there, man. It's not like you strike out in baseball or whatever.
Correct.
You're usually not getting knocked out, which that doesn't happen every fight, but that's a real possibility. There's a decent boxing match tomorrow, Fury versus Chisora, and I think that's in England. So I think that's in the afternoon tomorrow, maybe 2 o'clock or something. The card starts. But yeah, UFC really has it as far as the way they set that.
UFC
that up.
has Patty the Batty fighting pretty soon, right?
Yeah, I think the next major card. There's a card which is on tomorrow, and that's tomorrow or 2 days time. It's really, really like a really, really good card, and it's just the fight night. So make sure you tune into that, ladies and gents. But yeah, Paddy the Baddie is fighting very soon, and that's on the next major card, which is going to be very good too. So yeah,
Hell yeah. All right, man. Any parting thoughts, Sauce, for the World Cup or anything else before we get out of here?
Parting thoughts.
Really appreciate your time, man.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me, of course. My name is John, by the way. If anyone wants to know what my real name is, my name is John. Everyone calls me Sauce. I go by at Saucy Collectibles on Instagram. But if you don't follow me there, I'll just be happy if you give the podcast page a follow at Double Coverage. And yeah, go Australia. Hopefully we can cause the upset. Sorry, Tank. But I gotta go for my home. I gotta go for my home nation.
Of course.
And yeah, look, it's been a really, really good World Cup, and I'm excited to see where it ends up now that it is into what I like to call the crunch time. This is where it really, really gets interesting.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and that's where I think the Dolphins season is right now too. Just to go back to American football, we've been pretty good all year. Now, this is if this were the World Cup, this would be the knockout stage that the Dolphins are going into, where they're playing those tougher teams. And they got to go.
Are you a believer? Are you a Tua believer?
I'm not, unfortunately.
He's not. No, he is not.
Oh,
yeah, I'm not a member of QAnon.
He's a realist. I'll give him that, man.
Well, listen, Sauce. I'm 45. I've been watching the first game I ever saw the Miami Dolphins play was a Super Bowl in 1985. They lost that Super Bowl. I've never seen them get back to a Super Bowl. It's been a lot of pain, disappointment, and getting fooled. And I'm a little bit jaded, unfortunately, right now, where I'm like, I don't believe this yet. And I doubted Tua. And what I will give up is to McDaniel has created a system and put players around him that he's gotten the most out of him. And that's what coaching is all about, getting the most out of your players, no matter what their limitations are or whatever. You got to put the player in the right system and put him in situations where he can succeed. And he's been able to do that. There's a lot of people down here that want to put Tua up with the elites. I'm not ready to do that. I don't think if you put that guy in other teams, he can do the same things. And I think there's a way to expose him. Unfortunately, I hope it doesn't happen this weekend because NFL teams are copycats and they find the blueprint and then everybody copies that blueprint. And then I hope I'm wrong. I'll be so happy to be wrong. I'll never be happier to be wrong about him. But I can't.
I had to ask that question because I know a lot of Dolphins fans are like, they're on the fence.
It's controversial. It's a controversial.
Yeah, it is, and that's why I had to ask that question. It's funny enough, my co-host, who's also a Miami Dolphins fan.
Oh wow! Look at that.
He's at one point someone offered to give him Tua rookie cards, right? And they said, "Oh, you're a Dolphins fan. I've got I opened some boxes of NFL. Like I've got all these Dolphin cards. I've got these Tua rookie cards. Do you want them?" He goes, "I don't collect." This was his quote. "I don't collect backup quarterbacks." Right? That's what he said. And he didn't take them.
Me and him will get along.
And he was going to get them for free. And it's funny enough because those cards that he turned down for free are now gone up quite a bit. And there's quite a few people out there who want to collect Tua now how well he's playing. So yeah,
I think that's like cryptocurrency, man. I think there's going to be a crash on those cards. And I hate to sound like such a hater, doubter, but I don't like the way that when he gets hit, it looks like he doesn't know how to get sacked. There's an art form to getting sacked. Tom Brady has it down. You get hit, you fall on the floor. They murder him every time they hit him. So he's got to learn with that. I mean, I am coming around. I will say I'm coming around, but I'm not quite there yet. I can't judge a career by an 8 or 9 game stretch. I got to see more, and more is coming. The truth is coming out. There's no hiding the truth. It's going to be there. We're going to find out for sure. Time will tell.
Hey, yo, Sauce, check these out.
What's that? The Astros?
Yeah, bro. You
Yeah,
gaming? You gaming or no?
I used to game a lot. Like in my younger days, and so these are literally from when I was a teenager. That's how long and how good quality these headphones are.
Yeah.
I've had them for over 10 years, and they're still going strong. Like, and still some of the best headphones I have. These are the A30s. So,
okay, yeah, I think I'm on the A50s.
Before we go, other than cards, you guys into like any other type of collectibles, or what kind of stuff you guys collecting?
Oh yeah, like I mean, I'll collect signed jerseys of players. Cards is the main thing. I've also collected coins when I was younger. I think I've always had like a thing to just collect stuff. I mean, so yeah, look, mainly cards, and signed memorabilia. I would say anything signed, memorabilia, and cards is definitely the main thing. But yeah,
are you a fan of Messi?
Yeah, of course. Like, I mean, he's an amazing player.
We just got these in, man. If you like it, I'll send you one of these.
Lionel Messi.
This is a Funko Pop from our sponsor, which is my store, Man of Action Figures. What was your team again?
I'm Arsenal.
Arsenal.
I don't know if they made any of theirs. I'll look, but I'll send you something, man. I appreciate you coming on, and it was fun, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it. This has been fun. I'm always love getting on with people and having a chat about sport. Something I'm passionate about. So yeah, it's very, very easy for me.
We can tell, man. All right, awesome, man. Thanks for coming on, and good luck to you guys, man. You guys are tough. I like the way you guys played. It's a tough one with my family and friends coming up, and especially if the U.S. makes it through by some miracle and Argentina does. All hell's gonna break loose. I already told my wife, like one of the kids is coming with me for the rooting, and then you can have one of the other ones, but I'm not gonna be the only one in the house rooting for USA if that scenario plays out. Even though I don't think we stand a chance, but it is what it is. All right, fellas. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Thank you for everybody in the replay, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, Sauce.
Thank you.